So if you click this video, you're probably like me if for some reason you care about how much money a billion-dollar company makes in a year. Or in this case, the third financial quarter. Yes, we are talking about Nintendo's most recent financial report. I'm not going to delay any further, let's just hop right into it. So going up here, first of all, thank you to Pierre485 underscore on Twitter. If y'all don't know, Pierre, every time Nintendo does one of these reports, they make these amazing graphs showcasing comparisons, the up-to-date numbers, and all sorts of fun comparisons and graphs. Makes it a lot easier to talk about. So going here to Nintendo's hardware launch. So Nintendo Switch 2 did another 7 million units in its third quarter. Right here, as you can tell, it's the best third quarter for any Nintendo system, surpassing even the Wii's 3.43 million. And they're now at a total of 17.37 million units in just 7 months. So the Switch 2 is definitely Nintendo's fastest growing console, even almost a year out from its release. Which is very impressive. Their plan is to sell 19 million units by March 2026, so a full financial year. And that's only about 1.5 million units to go, so they got it. So, obviously in this case, Switch 2 is going to look pretty small. This is how much every Nintendo console has sold as a whole. The only two that are still on the market are the original Switch, which is this massive green bar, and the Switch 2. But even then, 7 months in, and the Switch 2 has done 17.3 million units. That's more than the Wii U in its lifetime. That's almost as much as the GameCube, about half of the 64, then from there you get the more popular consoles, but still, for it to do that much in 7 months, like, that's just insane. Alright, so going to the games here, we got Pokemon Legends ZA. This for me is what I've been very curious about, just because it came out on the original Switch. It is a Switch 1 game, but it also had the Switch 2 edition enhancements, and this was kind of Pokemon's first game on the new hardware. So how did it fare? Well, let's look at this graph here. So just in terms of sales, before we do the breakdown between Switch and Switch 2, it did 12.3 million units in its first 77 days. Not the best compared to some of these other ones. I see like Brilliant Diamond Shine and Pearl in 43 days eclipsed it. Pretty much all of these have eclipsed it just about in its first couple of days. But ZA, if you compare to say Let's Go, so these green bars is what they did in Lifetime. We'll see what ZA does, you know, in the next quarter. But just compared to, like, to say Legends Arceus, Legends Arceus has only done about 15 million units, and ZA's already at 12. Now, ZA might follow that pattern and, you know, do only a little bit, but time will have to tell on that. But the fact that, you know, that's pretty close to that, same with Brilliant Diamond Shine and Pearl, it's very interesting. I'm curious to see, this game's such in a unique place. I wonder if because it's also on Switch 2, and it's going to be kind of the Switch 2's Pokemon game for, at least until we get Gen 10, if it's going to keep pushing, or is this where it's going to stay at? And it's only going to go about another million or two and stop there. Alright, next up, Galaxy 1 and 2, which is what I didn't really think about in terms of sales, where I was curious to look at. But this is interesting. So, the way Nintendo put this in the report, they separated Galaxy 1 and 2, which I find is interesting. They said those as two different games, and technically they are. If you go on like the eShop, you can't buy both of them together. You buy 1 or 2. And when you get the physical cartridge, it shows 1 and 2 as two separate games. So, I don't know if they'll I guess they're counting 1 copy of the combo pack as 2 games here? That's what it seems like. So kind of weird, kind of messing with the numbers a bit, but anyhow, Galaxy 1 did about 2 million. Galaxy 2 did a little bit more, which is to be expected. I know a lot of people picked up Galaxy 2 on the Switch because it's its first release since the Wii, about over 15 years ago. Going next, we have Kirby Air Wires, a game I've yet to play, but I've heard nothing but great things about it. It looks so fun. And this one, it's doing pretty good for itself. We see here Air Wires is at 1.76 million. Therefore, it has eclipsed Planet Robobot, Mass Attack, what else? Amazing Mirror, the original Air Wine, Tilted Tumble, okay, it's Tilted Tumble, but Superstar, you know, and there's a lot of games here, you know, it's about to outsell Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which is a game that's been out for a couple of years, It's soon to outsell the original Return to Dreamland. Triple Deluxe. A lot of these games, it's going to be up there, and I can see this game especially being a Switch 2 exclusive. It probably will get up here to, I can see it get at least the Star Allies numbers of around 4 million units. Just the fact that it's done this much for a spin-off Kirby game is impressive. Makes me really excited to see once we get the next big Kirby game, whether that be a Forgotten Land sequel or whatever else they have cooking up. I'm excited to see how that compares, because we see how much Forgotten Land did. It, blew everything out of the water, including the original, which the original was the highest selling game until Forgotten Land. But definitely Air Rider's an impressive launch for a spinoff. Glad to see all that hard work paid off there. Alright, my personal game of the year, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Let's look into this. So, Q3, we already got to see some sales of this because this was an earlier Switch 2 game. In that first quarter, it did about 3.5 million units, and it did about another 3/4, 750k after that. Compared to here, it's a total of 4.2 million units, and that beats it out of all the Game Boy games, beats the first Donkey Kong Country, the third Donkey Kong Country. It gets it within hidden range of Donkey Kong Country 2, Donkey Kong 64. Bonanza, I'm curious to see where it goes from here. I feel like it's either going to keep, give like every quarter about 500,000, 750,000, it'll sell about 1 million or 2 each year. Or, I think it might have the inverse effect of, once we get that new 3D Mario game, Bonanza will keep selling, but it's going to go much further down. And people are going to gravitate to the new 3D Mario. But the big one, Mario Kart World. Gosh, that's let's go look at the sales here. So, of course, we have sales of this. Q2, which was 5.6 million, followed by 3.9. And we see actually a bit of a 4.46 million units. It is the fastest selling Mario Kart game ahead of Mario Kart. As we can see here, the first 2 quarters, it beats all of them, even Wii by just a smidge. Even for the third quarter, it beats all of them again. Just a smidge, weighing to about 14 million units in just 7 months. We go to the total lifetime sales here. It's beaten the original Mario Kart games. It's beaten Double Dash, Super Sonic 64, the original Super. It is up there with the top 5 best-selling Mario Kart games. This is easily, it'll easily beat all of this. I easily see World smashing 7 out the water, DS out the water, Wii out the water. The big question is, will World get to the astronomical numbers of 8 Deluxe at that massive 70 million? We keep flipping through here, we see Nintendo Switch hardware, what it has done. You can see a massive drop off from 2024 to 2025, but again, that's to be expected. You have a console. And the fact that just in 2025, around about 4.5 million in 2025, when we knew about the Switch 2, came out, and it still did that much. It's pretty good, I would say. Alright, once again, we're going to lifetime sales. Switch 4 business Smash Bros. Going into this one. It's still another half million. Makes sense. I was thinking it would keep a popular game. We don't have the next one to see this yet. And of course, it's just 37 million. Breath of the Wild did another again, the Switch port. This game is Odyssey did another 400 million. Again, the highest selling game in France. We got games Scarlet and Violet, which honestly is still following trends. A bit of a lower compared to the previous holiday season, because especially the more recent Legends release. But just looking at the last year, like 0.46, 0.47, it's selling still pretty decently. Compared to Sword and Shield, it is already way Sword and Shield. We'll see. I feel like it might sell a bit more. Kind of like how Sword and Shield did. I might just go with that one. And the series as a whole, Scarlet Violet is the second highest selling game in the franchise. Only second to Red 3. Out of the three, Scarlet Violet has been out 11 million between TA and Animal Horizon. I don't see that. They could check that we would defeat it out several million players. Pokemon Sword and Shield still chugging along. It's kind of interesting. You see, it did another 100,000 units. Pretty interesting, honestly. Tears of the Kingdom did another 250,000. It's interesting that Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild is just the more well-known one, so that's why it sells more. Even Tears of the Kingdom is 20 million, so nothing super profit. Still, it's just interesting to see that Breath of the Wild is some more superior to Tears of the Kingdom. Super Mario Party. Yeah, I think Super Mario Party's weight has finally died out. Getting lower and lower. I think Jamboree has and now especially Jamboree. I think Super Mario Party that's very impressive. Out of Jamboree's Jamboree is at over 9 million. More than what they said this game did this quarter. Yeah, so Wonder is still selling more than